Salvete discipuli, third graders, Oremus. Pater noster, qui es in caelis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in caelo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris. Et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. All right, third graders, we're getting ready to jump right in. As always, I miss you guys and I wish we could meet in person, but I hope these videos have been helpful for you. So if you have the lesson plan, we are on page 1 and we are going to do a word of the week. I know we only got to do this a couple times in person, but I wanted to keep it up even in the videos. So our word this week is multiplication. Let's think about that word, multiplication. Now, third graders, what does multiplication mean? Since you're in third grade, I know that you've worked with multiplication. So think about it. What would be a good definition of multiplication? Multiplication is when you take one number and add it together a number of times. And so usually that number is getting bigger, right? And when we look at this word, multiplication, what do you notice? Let's look at the first part of the word, just the multi. Does that sound like any Latin word that you know? What word does it sound like? That's right, it comes from the Latin multus, multi. And what does multus mean? Multus means many. And that's because usually when you multiply a number, it becomes many times larger. It's increasing it, making it more. So the word many. So multiplication comes right from this word multus. Great work. All right, we are going to do a little bit of vocabulary review. So if you have the lesson plan in front of you, you can go ahead and look over those words. These are some of our adjectives we've been learning about. And remember, an adjective is a word that describes a noun. So we have magnus, which means big or large, parvus, which means small, multus, which we just talked about, means many, and then paucus, which means few. So we're going to be using these adjectives today as we translate, so make sure that you remember those. All right, we're moving on to page 2. We have a section called Grammar Review, and you are going to fill in the blanks using the word bank. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to go look that over yourself. It might be good to pause this video if you want to complete that on your own first. So go ahead, pause the video, work on that on your own, and then we'll come together and go over it. All right, so hopefully you unpause the video and you're set with your answers, and we'll go over those together. So, number 1, we have blank means only one. What means only one, third graders? Singular, that's right. Second sentence, blank means more than one. What's more than one? That's right, plural. Number 3, blank noun endings are a, I. Feminine. Feminine noun endings in the singular is a, plural is I. Good work. All right, 4, noun endings are a. Neuter, that's right. Neuter noun endings are when they're singular, a when they're plural. Number 5, noun endings are us and e, like fluius, fluii. That's right, masculine. Masculine endings are us when they're singular and e when they're plural. Number 6, a blank is a person, place, thing, or idea. A noun. And number 7. And blank is a word that describes a noun. We just talked about this. What's a word that describes a noun? An adjective. And number 8, nouns and adjectives must match in 2 ways. Blank, singular or plural, and blank, masculine, feminine, or neuter. The first blank is number. So nouns and adjectives must match in 2 ways. Number, singular and plural, and gender, masculine, feminine, or neuter. All right, if you feel like I went over this way too fast for you, you can go ahead. I'm including an answer key too, so you can go ahead and look at the answer key to fill in the blanks or make any corrections if you need to. But knowing these things, I know it's a lot, but it'll really help you as we move forward. Okay, and then we have a spot at the bottom of that lesson plan where you can fill in the endings on that table. So again, go ahead, pause the video, fill in those endings, those singular and plural for masculine, feminine, and neuter. We've been doing this a lot the last couple of weeks, but it'll really help you as we're learning Latin. So go ahead and pause the video and work on that. Okay, hopefully you were able to complete that table, and we'll come together and talk about it now. So we have masculine, feminine, and neuter, singular, and plural. What are our masculine singular ending? Our masculine singular ending is us, and our masculine plural ending is e. For example, fluius, river. Fluii, rivers. Good work. All right, what about feminine? Our singular ending is a. For example, insula, island. Our plural ending is I, insulae, islands. And neuter, we have our singular ending is oppidum, city. Our plural is a, oppida, cities. Great work. So I'll show you one more time in case you need to go ahead and write any of those down. Again, it's also in the answer sheet if you need to do that. And you should keep this chart handy as we work on our translation today. So I know we are just zipping through this today, 3rd graders. Let's move on to the final page where we are going to be translating. We're going to take a look at the sentence. Most of this will be familiar to you because we've been doing this kind of work the last few weeks. And so I think that you will be able to do this with no problems. But let's take a look at an example sentence. This should be at the top of the 3rd page. Creta insul blank, Grec blank est. All right, so I need to do 2 things here. I need to translate the sentence and I need to decide if it's singular or plural. First, let's take a look and see if it's singular or plural. So we have Creta. That means Crete, the island of Crete. And here we can tell we're just talking about one place, Crete. Okay, we have insul, Grec, and then est at the end. And we remember when we see est, what does it mean? It means that we're only talking about one thing because est means is. And I can't use is if I'm talking about more than one thing. So these 2 are clues that tell me the sentence is singular. But is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? Let's take a look. What do you think? Feminine, that's right, because of insula. So what is our feminine singular ending? That's right. So I'm going to put insula Graeca. We have Creta, insula Graeca est. And that translates as Crete is a Greek island. Great work. Okay, so now we'll move on to where you'll do the translating. So starting with number 1. We have Lesbos et Chios et Naxos sunt insul blank Grec blank. Right here. All right, let's take a look at this, 3rd graders. We see Lesbos et Chios et Naxos. What does this mean? Lesbos, which is an island, and fun fact, 3rd graders, I've actually been to this island. I worked in a refugee camp on that island. Refugees are people who have had to leave their country because of persecution or war or difficult situations, and I was there helping refugees who were on that island. So I know this island, Lesbos and Chios, which is another island, and Naxos. You can keep these spelled all the same. So we're talking about how many different places? We're talking about 3 different places here. And then we see the word sunt. What do we know about the word sunt? That's right, it means are. And are, we only use that word when we're talking about more than one thing. I can say, the trees are green. I can't say the tree are green. That wouldn't make sense. So, is the sentence singular or plural? It's plural, that's right. And is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? Again, we see insula, and we say, hey, I remember insula. Insula is a feminine word. So I know that we must have a feminine plural ending here. What is our feminine plural ending? That's right, it's I-A-E, so insulae. But wait a minute, third graders, what am I going to do here? We have Greek, what's my ending? Well, I remember what we were just talking about, how nouns, insulae, and adjectives, Greek here, they need to match in what? In number and gender. Remember, number just means singular or plural. So they have to match here in number. They need to both be plural. The P is for plural. They also need to match in gender. Remember, this one's feminine. So they both need to be feminine. They both need to be plural. So their endings are going to match. We have insulae, Graecae. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and translate. So go ahead and see if you can write a translation as I write mine. All right, here we have Lesbos and Chios and Naxos. All the spellings say the same. Are from sunt, Greek from Greek here, islands, insulae. And see, it's islands plural because of that ending. Perfect, great work. Okay, so let's move on to number 2. In Graecia, mult blank, insul blank, sunt. Sorry, it got a little smudged there. But let's take a look. We have in Graecia. All right, but this is saying in, so we still don't really have our subject here. Mult blank insul. Here's our clue though. Sunt. What do we know when we see sunt? That it's plural. So we know we're looking at a plural sentence. We see insul here, and what do we remember about that? It comes from insula, which is feminine. And just remembering, without looking at the chart, what is our feminine plural ending? That's right, it's AE or I. So we have insulae. All right, but what about this blank, mult? What are we going to put there? That's right, we're also going to put AE or I because our noun and our adjective are going to match in number. They're both plural. And gender, they're both feminine. They're gonna match here because insulae, islands, that's our thing, right? It's or a place. And multi here, which means many, is describing. You can say, what kind of islands? Well, there are many islands, so they need to match. All right, let's write our translation. We have in Greece. Now, sunt here is going to be a little confusing. We're used to just saying are, but sunt can also mean there are. So we're going to say in Greece, there are many islands. In Greece, there are many islands. There you go, if you want to write it down. Great work. Okay, so we are going to move on. We are flying through these. We're doing great, third graders. We're moving on to number 3. In Gallia, sunt mult blank flui blank. Okay, we have in Gallia sunt mult blank flui blank. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take a look at what we should put in the blanks here. We have in Gallia again. We remember that's in Gaul. Sunt. Now we're going to have to translate that as there are again, just like the last one. But when we see sunt, this is our clue. What does it tell us? It tells us the sentence is plural. So we know the sentence is plural, but is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? What do you think looking at flui? What do we know about that word? What does it come from? It comes from the word fluius. And we know fluius is masculine. So we need the masculine plural ending. What's the masculine plural ending? That's right, it's e. So we have flui. And what about this blank? Well, because the adjective has to match the noun, we have the same ending in this blank. So we have sunt multi flui. They match here. Multi, many, is matching fluius, river. All right, go ahead and try the translation on your own. All right, third graders, what did you get? We have in Gaul, in Gallia, there are from sunt many, from multi rivers, from flui. See how it's plural here to match that plural ending. Perfect, great work. Okay, number 4. We have in Italia, mult blank, opid blank, sunt. Okay. In Italia, mult blank, opid blank, sunt. All right, let's take a look. So we see in Italy again, and then let's look, where's our clue here? That's right, sunt. What does sunt tell us? It tells us that it's plural. And is it masculine, feminine, or neuter? Looking at this word here, opid. What does that word come from? It's the root of oppidum. That's right. And what gender is oppidum? Oppidum is neuter. So if we look at the we're looking for the plural neuter ending. What's the plural neuter ending? It's a or an a. So we have oppida. And if we have oppida here, what do we know about this word? Our adjective. Remember, an adjective needs to match the noun. So what are we going to put in that ending? We're also going to put a. So the sentence will read, in Italia, multa oppida sunt. Great work. Okay, go ahead, write your translation, and I'll write mine. Okay, you ready? We have, in Italy, from here, there are, from sunt, many cities. Multa oppida. Did you get that too? If you didn't, go ahead and make any corrections you need to. And we will move on to our final sentence. Now this one is a little bit tricky, so I want to see if you can get it on your own. If you want to, you can go ahead and just try that one right now and we'll come back and talk about it. So go ahead, try number 5 on your own, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, for those of you who don't have the lesson plan, you can see right here, number 5 is in Arabia, sunt pak blank flui blank et pak flu opid, pak blank opid blank. All right. Go ahead and try translating this one and filling in the blanks, but before you do so, I want you to notice we have 4 blanks here. We know that the adjective needs to match the noun. So we're going to see right here, pak is going to be the adjective that describes flui, and pak here is going to be the adjective that describes opid. But that doesn't mean we're going to use the same ending for all 4. Remember, the endings for these 2 need to match, and the endings for these 2 need to match. But they don't necessarily need to match each other. So pay attention to the genders there. Okay, are you finished, 3rd graders? Should we take a look? What did you put in your endings? Well, the first 2 we have in Arabia, sunt paki flui. Why is that? Well, when we see the sunt here, we know it's going to be plural. When I see flui, I know that comes from fluius, which is masculine. So I'm looking for my plural masculine ending, which is e. So we have paki flui because they need to match, right? And then we have et pauka opida. Why is it different? They're still plural, but opidum is a neuter word, not masculine. So we're looking at the neuter plural ending, and we have a. So we have in Arabia, sunt pauki flui et pauka opida. And our translation is, in Arabia, there are few rivers and few cities. Remember, paukus means few. All right, go ahead and copy that down. And that is our final sentence that we're doing together this week. So as always, Latin students, until next time, valete discipuli.